Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of the world's biggest stars and some of my favourite people. Engelbert Humperdinck has been performing for, 5 or 10 years, something like that. And he's coming to the London Palladium on May 4th, 2020 for what is going to be an incredible night in the presence of a legend. It's always an honour to speak to you. Engelbert, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay, thank you very much. It's a lovely day here.
You're one of my favourite people, and I'm very jealous because here I'm sat at the moment in Loughborough about to go and see a pantomime. This is your neck of the woods, and you're in the sunshine in LA. I think you win.
Well, it's not very warm, but it's the sun is shining. It is winter here.
Yeah, but your winter's still like our summer, though, isn't it? Let's face it.
Oh, yeah, it's like in the 50s and that sort of thing.
Do you miss not being here for Christmas? Because it is romantic as I sit here looking at those twinkly lights.
I really miss not being home for Christmas. It's most of my family live in the UK, and of course, at Christmas time is always a time of celebration where I invite people over to my house on Boxing Day, and I open up my pub, and I'm the bartender, and we have a wonderful time. But unfortunately, my wife can't get on a plane yet, but until she can get on the plane, we will spend most of our Christmases left in the UK.
We spoke about a year ago. How is Patricia? How's she doing?
She's slowly progressing with this complaint of the Alzheimer's. It's a very difficult disease to cure, but she's starting to talk a little bit now, which is wonderful. She hasn't spoken for a couple of 3 years, but now she's starting to say. She even called my name 3 days ago, which is wonderful to hear. If she says good morning, it's a plus, and therefore she's getting treated here in a very special way. So not with a friend of mine who is an acupuncturist doctor, and he can produce stem cells with his work. So and he's just discovered a new machine that he's just invented a new machine that you can keep on for 3 months, and hopefully it will rejuvenate the cells, and she'd start to talk again.
Can you believe after 3 years that she was able to do that? How did that feel? Because that's extraordinary. Her saying your name must be the best Christmas gift ever.
It's the best Christmas gift. Yes, it is, and I'm really thrilled. Every little gesture she makes in the way of normality, I feel comfort. Some comfort is happening. So, in the fact that the doctor is making progress,
Well, congratulations on that. What a fabulous thing to happen. There is hope. That's what's amazing about this, because we see it as so terminal, don't we, with this condition? Especially in the UK, we don't see it as something that can be cured or regressed. So this is incredible.
It is, and you're talking 10 years now, and that she's had it and more. For her to be doing that right now is quite unique.
Let's talk about you. How are you, Engelbert? Often people forget when there's someone who's ill. They don't ask about the partner. How are you doing?
I tell you what, I'm doing okay, thank God. And I've just finished a massive tour. I just did 6 countries in 14 days. 6 countries in 14 days. That's amazing. Singapore. Wow. I went to Malaysia, Bangkok, and the Philippines. Went to Tokyo in Japan, and finished up in Hawaii, all in 14 days. But unfortunately, I go to all these exotic places to play, but I never get a chance to go out and enjoy, their sort of, find out about how they live, in those countries, and what they do, etc., and see some beautiful sights. I'm there. I do the job. I'm in my hotel room, and I take pictures out of the window, and I save them for my memory, so I can keep it in my memos, and that's about it. And then I do the job and get on a plane and fly to the next venue.
Is it still extraordinary that whether you're in Bangkok, Phuket or Bridlington, you can sell out a venue? I mean, so few artists have that, especially after this many decades.
I know. I've been very fortunate that my music has been global, and everywhere I go. I mean, even in Tokyo, the audience was singing was singing with me, some of my songs. And it's just unusual. It's just because they can't even speak the language, but they know the songs. I guess it's something to do with karaoke. I think karaoke plays a big part in my music around the world, including Russia.
I mean, when you've got songs like Spanish Eyes and, of course, Release Me and Cuando, I mean, these are instantly recognizable songs. How's your voice doing? I mean, do we sound like the 60s Engelbert, or has it changed?
I have... Well, my voice hasn't changed much, I think, if anything, I've become more contemporary in my style of singing, because I've just released an album with... it's a mini album, actually, and it's called Reflections, and there's some great songs on it, one is it's called Don't Let the Old Man In. I did that because of, the aging process, so I did that song, Don't Let Then I Don't. For instance, I try to keep as young as possible all through my aging years, and I've never had, my hair has never gone gray. Although it went gray when I was in my 20s, I said I can't go into show business with gray hair. So therefore, I started dyeing it then, and I still do. And I try to dress as contemporary as possible, and stay in the field of the young. My style of music, it seems to it will never. I don't think it'll ever. I thank God it will never get old, because everybody likes romantic stuff, and it's this is how love affairs begin, by listening to a romantic song or something like that, or dancing to it. So therefore, I'm happy that I still stay in that vein of music.
What does the London Palladium mean to you? 4th of May, you'll be there with your one-man show. For me, it's still the Palace of Show Business. I was there just a couple of weeks ago, and you walk through that majestic staircase through into the stalls, and you look at that stage and the cloths, and you just think, my God, this is where they've all stood.
Yes, it all began there for me, because if I didn't do the Sunday night at the London Palladium, Release Me would never have been a hit. Because it was sitting on the shelf for 3 months, and I thought, oh God, it's such a great song. And then all of a sudden the door opened, and I got Sunday night at the London Palladium, and the very next day it started selling like 80,000 a day, which was amazing, and started my career. And at the end of the year of that release of that, I did a pantomime there. And we sold the place out in 4 months. Every show was sold out, broke all box office records, thanks to Release Me and The Last Waltz and those wonderful albums that I recorded right at the beginning of my life.
Just incredible. And the feeling of standing on that stage and seeing that standing ovation at the end, which is inevitable, I guess that's what you live for today.
I do, and I love it. And people say to me, "When are you going to hang your hat up?" I don't intend to. As long as I have a voice that works, and I have a following. I have a very, very staunch following, and I'm really proud of them. And I get to read some of their comments on the internet, on social media. About my shows and etc. And they send me some wonderful. It gives me life, and I want to keep doing what I'm doing, because it really makes me feel good.
Is it tricky when you've got a partner, a wife, a best friend who is not able to enjoy it with you? I mean, how frustrating will it be if she can't join you on May 4th? Is your ambition to get her there with you?
Well, I am. It's my ambition that she gets to see me again work on stage, and I hope it won't be too long. Well, I pray it won't be too. And I got news for you. The fans and my following, they send their prayers, through that in that way, and I think it's a very strong medicine for her, and I think it's all helping to make her better.
I interviewed Ken Dodd 150 times or whatever, and I always said the same question. They all say, when are you going to retire? And he said, well, you don't stop doing what you want to do something you don't want to do. Is the stage your safe place? Is this where you love to be?
Yeah, as I was talking to you about the song, that try to stay as young as possible. It's called "Don't Let the Old Man In," and it was written by Toby Keith, and it's in the movie The Mule. Right at the end of the movie, you hear it. It's a great song, and when I first started singing it at home, people started to cry. You know, my daughter was crying, and her husband was crying, and I sang it at a private party, and who else was there? I won't tell you. John Travolta.
Oh,
John
really?
Travolta heard it at a private party, and it brought tears to his eyes.
Wow.
And I thought, my God, if it does it to him, it's got some good
power.
stuff. Oh,
Yeah, incredible.
yeah, and it's a great song. It's one of the big songs in my show right now.
I know we love to look forward, and we will. We'll see you in May at the Palladium. If we could go back a moment and just go back to the Vegas days and the halcyon days of show business when they were megastars and you were one of them, would you indulge me with either a Sinatra, Elvis, Tom Jones story that back in the day? I mean, these were amazing times, right?
Yeah. I did get to I mean, I used to work in Vegas for a month at a time, and I got to see many wonderful, great artists over there, and got to meet them and know them. In fact, you know, I think one of the best people I ever met in show business was definitely Dean Martin. You know, and Dean was such a wonderful man, and I befriended him, and he gave me good advice, and I played at his hotel, you know, the Riviera Hotel for 9 years, and he was a wonderful man. I think he's one of the greatest show business people I ever met in my life.
Vegas has changed, hasn't it? Does it disappoint you the way Vegas has gone? Because it's not so much now about the legends, because there aren't that many left. It's more about the day clubs and the nightclubs. Is it still fun to go back there?
I tell you what, I do miss, because they did put on great shows and very entertaining shows, you know, and a voice that is totally recognizable, and Dean was a wonderful man, and I loved, and the other person, of course, was Elvis. You know, it was wonderful meeting him and knowing him, and seeing his show, and he come and see my show. It was just wonderful.
Again, when you hear those records now, does it feel like yesterday, or is it, 30, 40 years ago? How do you see your life? Because again, when you've been famous for as long as you have, it's an extraordinary existence in a way, because your music is timeless, but of course the body changes and gets older, doesn't it?
Well, that happens, but I'm trying not to let the old man in.
He's not welcome.
Yeah. But you know what? It's inevitable. One does get older, but you just have to do the best you can with the tools you've got for the sake of conviviality.
There's not much you could do about it, is there? We've loved talking to you today. You're one of our favourite people and one of our biggest stars. Engelbert Humperdinck will be with you at the London Palladium on May 4th, 2020. I'm going to come and see you there if it's okay. Just listen to these figures. 140 million records, 64 gold albums, 35 platinum, 4 Grammy nominations and a Golden Globe. I mean, what a legacy that is. For you, if you're remembered and defined by one song, which one would it be?
I'd have to say Release Me.
Yeah.
And The Last Waltz. Those are the two songs that really stand out for me, because Release Me started my career, and it stopped the Beatles from having their 13th number one, which is in the Guinness Book of Records. And The Last Waltz, of course, was written by Barry Mason and Les Reed. And unfortunately, we lost Les just a little while ago, and he was one of my dear friends and a great writer. He wrote great songs for me, like Les Bicyclettes de Belsize and The Last Waltz, and you know, those wonderful songs, and that has kept my career alive. Well,
certainly Release Me is iconic, but for me The Last Waltz is your greatest vocal performance. I think it's stunning, because it's not easy. These songs are not walks in the park, are they?
No. They're difficult to sing, yeah. Thank God, my voice is still strong, and I just love walking on stage and feeling the love that comes from the audience.
And you've always been about that. The fans have always been important to you. They love you and you love them.
Yes, we have a great relationship.
You can see Engelbert Humperdinck live in concert at the London Palladium on Monday, 4th of May 2020. I'll see you there. I can't wait. Thank you so much for your time, Engelbert.
Oh, you're very welcome, sir. Very welcome. Thank you so much. My best to you and all your listeners.